We'd like to welcome to the Midwest Sound Countdown John Anderson. John, it's nice to have you in St. Louis.
It's a pleasure to be in St. Louis, Walter.
And you're here for the Marlboro Country Music Show.
Yes, we are,
And,
on April 19th.
You're in good company.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're looking forward to a great show out there with Ricky Skaggs and Hank Jr. and George Strait. And, of course, we've played here in St. Louis before, so we look forward to seeing a lot of the folks back out again.
Have you done a show with Hank Williams Jr. and all the guys before?
Oh, yes, I have. I've worked with all of them, in fact, at different times. Worked with Hank Jr. 5 or 6 shows, worked with Ricky a couple shows, and worked with George several shows. And, of course, it's always a pleasure, you know. We're all good friends, and it's a good way to make a living.
Well, now let's get into the countdown here. George, John, we want to, this is a tape, so we don't worry too much about it. We want to ask you about the your early days. Where were you born?
I was born in Central Florida, there in Orlando. Born and raised. I was raised in the little town of Apopka there, right outside Orlando.
I wondered how you pronounce that.
Apopka, yeah. Means big potato in Seminole Indian. That's what it means.
They raise a lot of big potatoes there?
No, it was a huge lake there, about 30 miles across, and that's what they called the lake.
I see. What was your early life like?
Well, I grew up in a neighborhood, a clean neighborhood, a good neighborhood. Had a very close family, 6 children in the family. I was one of the 2 boys. I had 4 girls and 2 boys. And my dad and mom were very hard-working people, very good people, Christian people. And I grew up a good American childhood, I have to say. I have no regrets at all over my childhood. My folks were always behind me musically, and I just hope that I can give my child as good a home as they gave me.
Were your folks into music? Did they play and sing? Or?
Not really, no. They both enjoy music very much, but neither one of them ever had the chance to develop any talent or any, you know, they never learned to play or never took up singing.
Where was your first exposure to music? Was it in church or?
I first really got into it my own self, you know. I started playing guitar when I was about 7 years old and just really got into that. My sister Donna was a big influence at the time. She was singing around local clubs there in Orlando, and so music was really in the house, you know. My other sister Karen played the piano and sang, and in fact, almost all the kids were musically inclined. In
school, did you concentrate on music, or were you into sports or that sort of thing?
I played sports quite a bit up till about the 10th grade, you know, and about the time I was 15, I started really getting more serious about the music. It started taking up a lot more of my time. I'd already decided that I would probably move to Nashville and try and become a singer, and so it was pretty heavy on my mind. Yeah.
That soon, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, where did you had other jobs? I'm sure. Now, music it comes into our life, and we want to make a living at it, but we can't at first. Did you have other jobs when you were?
Oh yeah, many other jobs.
Like what?
I was a plumber's helper, a carpenter's helper. I was about everything's helper. I never was anything myself, but a helper. And I drove a bulldozer for a while and a dump truck, and I don't know. After about 8 months of being in Nashville and taking on about 10 different jobs, I finally decided to walk downtown with my guitar and give it a shot.
Were you ever in a band?
Yes, I was. Growing up in high school, we had a little combo, you might say. We played dances, school dances, and things of that nature. Get little weekend jobs and this and that.
In Nashville, though, you never did join somebody's band?
No, never did. I was, in fact, moved up. You know, I had songwriting was on my mind. I was pretty much wanting to learn just the industry. You know, I knew when I first moved to Nashville that I didn't know anything about it. So I took it on myself for the first couple of years just to kind of just get along, try and break into the music business and learn the industry. And it took many years to finally really learn about the industry.
What knocked the doors down for you? Was it songwriting?
I don't think anything ever knocked the doors down. Songwriting did help me, though, immensely. In fact, the first legitimate deal that I got was a songwriting deal, and that took me on to Warner Brothers Records, which was, a more legitimate label than of course, the record labels I had been on previously.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Warner Brothers wasn't the first record label or the first records that you released.
No, it wasn't. Well, they're the first ones that ever got released, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. The smaller companies never could get enough going to ever release a record. But the one of the tapes that we had done was what the people from Warner Brothers heard, and that's in the end how I ended up getting my contract.
Well, now I
It's
heard
a hard story to remember.
heard an interview with you one time, and you said that you had written a lot of songs that kind of connotated back to the rock era of music. They were country songs, but they had a rock beat or something like that.
Well, I don't know about that now. How many I've written like that? We've done several records though that were, I would say, swinging was one of them that I wrote that was like that. Black Sheep of the Family is another record that was like that. Let Somebody Else Drive is another record that's got a pretty strong beat. However, those records aren't anything like Low Dog Blues or The Girl to the Bar that are also songs that we wrote. So we try and do a little of all of it.
You said in this interview that I listened to, you said, those songs have a strong beat to them. They're not exactly country, but I've got a lot more of them.
Oh, are you sure that was my interview you heard? I ain't got any songs right now. I wish I did have.
All out, huh?
Yeah.
You got any ideas?
We got a brand new album ready. That's probably why I'm fresh out. We got a new album ready to go. It's called Tokyo, Oklahoma, which is after a song that a good friend of mine, Mac Vickery, wrote. I think the first single is going to be an old song called It's All Over Now that the Rolling Stones did on their album. So there again, we have a song with another pretty funky beat that's not quite so country, However, I always thought it was a good country song. And
Tell us about some of the songs in that album.
Well, there's that song, and of course there's Tokyo, Oklahoma, which is a song that I've never heard really anything else like. You just about have to hear that for your own self, There's not much I could tell you about it, other than it is different. We have another song, some real good country songs on the album. One of them is Kent Robbins' song. He wrote She Just Started Liking Cheating Songs, which is one of our earlier hits. Kent wrote a song called Till I Get Used to the Pain. It's a really good, strong country ballad. That could be a single record. There are a lot of good songs on it.
We'll look forward to that album. When you're off the road and have some leisure time, what do you like to do?
These days, Walt, really I enjoy being with my family, and my wife and I are building a new home there east of Nashville. I've got some newly acquired land that I really enjoy. I've always been an outdoors person, so I enjoy getting out on my farms and looking around and walking around and just checking things out.
Will you raise horses out there or have some livestock?
Not so far. We've not put any horses. Like I say, we're just now on one place getting the house built, so we'll probably just make that more or less a big yard.
What kind of family do you have?
Well, I have a little girl and a wife.
Little girl, and do you look forward to more?
15 boys on the bus.
That's a pretty big family.
Yeah. But, we're looking forward to more, hopefully. I'm now at a stage in my life and career where I have done an awful lot of changing probably in the last 2 or 3 years. Some of the people and my fans that knew John Anderson 3 years ago or 4 years ago when Wild and Blue was out, or when, or whatever, they would probably know a different person now, I've gone through changes, and I think changes for the better. I've learned that this is a business that we're in. I've taken it upon myself to treat it more like a business, mainly because I just want to write more better songs. I want to write more songs that are what I call good John Anderson songs.
Now then, what about hobbies? I know that people in the music business and people in the radio business do this too. All of a sudden there's nothing but the radio, and one day you wake up and you haven't been doing anything or learning anything except the radio business. Do you have a hobby?
Yeah, I do. I like to fish. I like to just, as I said, get out, in the outdoors and just take in the fresh air and enjoy the beautiful scenery. I have very little time to do that these days because of the music and the traveling. But when I'm home, that's pretty much what I do.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, I like all of it. Really, I'm not a very picky eater. I like about everything. I guess a good old steak or seafood's probably my favorite food. About any kind of seafood.
Yeah, somebody said they were on a seafood diet. All the food they see, they eat. And
Yeah, really.
That's the way it goes. And what do you foresee for the future for John Anderson?
Well, hopefully, as I was talking, we can write more songs that maybe we'll do, open up other venues for us. There has even been talk of doing some music with some of the heavy rock and roll people. There, all of a sudden, we get calls that some of those people are interested in country music, just the same as we're interested in their music. And you never know; anything could work out. We have a new song coming up in the soundtrack of a movie. The movie will be called Rustler's Rhapsody. It is a Paramount movie. Should be out within the next couple of weeks.
Who all is in that? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you the stars. There's a couple pretty good names. So.
Now let's talk about John Anderson and awards. How do you view the awards, the different awards, and would you like to get some?
Well, the ones that I've gotten, I'm very proud of, and as far as the awards go, I think that's all a big part of our business, and I'm not the one to say how legitimate these awards are. I don't do the voting or the counting. I don't know who they get to do the voting, in fact, and it really doesn't matter to me. All I know is that I'm proud to have been a part of several different award shows and have won several awards. Maybe not nearly all the awards we'd like to win, but hey, we got plenty of time. And for the most part, I'm for the award shows. I just hope that the awards that I've gotten will prove worthy. I'll prove worthy of the awards in the years to come.
If you could take one song, any song that you have recorded that wasn't a hit, but it's a favorite of yours, which one would it be?
Any song that I've recorded?
Yeah.
That wasn't a hit.
Yeah, they probably got lost in an album, but that you really did like.
Gosh, it'd be hard to pick out one. There are several songs. One of them is One of Those Old Things We All Go Through is a song off our third album that I really liked. There's a song on the Wild and Blue album called She Never Looked That Good When She Is Mine that I always thought was a really good country song. It never got put out. There's a song on our latest album called Red Georgia Clay that's a good song that never got put out. And there are some songs we have in the can that probably never will get put out. We just recorded a thing by Tony Joe White called Garter Belt. And it probably won't get put out, but it's probably a smash. I don't know. I know a lot of people like it, but the chances are the general public won't get to hear it because we probably won't put it out.
Yeah. John, it's been nice having you with us, and where do you go from here?
Well, right now I'm probably going to catch a plane in a little while and head back to that farm I was telling you about. I've just got in off the road just a couple days ago. We'd been out for 5 weeks. We toured Canada and California, and so I really still hadn't got the road out of me yet. I'm ready to go back home and do a little regrouping, maybe try and write a song or two before my time off is up, and get ready for this big show in St. Louis on the 19th.
Where do you get the ideas for songs that you write?
Just anywhere. They come from different places. Sometimes you'll get a whole idea just riding along or sitting around, however, and you'll write the whole thing. There are songs and pieces, some of my better ideas, I feel like, that I've had for years now. They just, maybe they'll pan out, maybe they won't. but we'll still keep working on them.
John, thanks for being with us. We'll see you on stage for the Marlboro Country Music Show.
Well, we look forward to it, Walt, and thank you.